Is the Google Pixel actually becoming better over time, or is it just the same thing over and over again? In this video, we're talking about the Google Pixel 8 Pro. It just came out 2 weeks ago. I've had it for the last 2 weeks. I've been using it every day. Here's what I think of it. All right, so you're probably watching this video. You want to have an opinion or perspective or some advice, some detail, pretty much a review on the Pixel 8 Pro. Today, I'm really hoping to give you guys a bit more clarity on this actual phone, the experience behind it. Now, the first topic I want to get into for the Pixel 8 Pro is really the experience and pretty much how it is shifting from the Pixel 7 Pro to the Pixel 8 Pro. Now, the Pixel 7 Pro holds up really well till this day. It's only just the last generation, so it still has amazing capabilities, great performance, but the Pixel 8 Pro innovates in a couple of ways that actually gives you a much more fun experience as a tech consumer or just like a tech fan in general. And I really do have to say that the experience with the Pixel 8 Pro in the last couple of days has been really nice. It's been enjoyable. I've really enjoyed picking up a Google Pixel again. I loved the Pixel 7 Pro when I had it last year and I reviewed it on the channel, and apparently so did you guys. You actually smashed that video. But now I do want to say that first of all, shifting from the Pixel 7 Pro, the main thing that kind of caught my eye was really the build design, and I want to touch up on the design of this new Pixel 8 really quickly. It has a new finish to it. It has kind of this matte brush finish in the back, which is actually really nice to the touch. It's comfortable, it's nice, it sits well in the hand. It is a little slippery, so I would personally recommend to get a case. Now, that's not a big issue. If you guys were ever interested in some cases, I will leave some that I think are actually pretty cool in the description down below. Now, speaking of finish, we're also looking at a brand new design for their camera layout. Now, it is still in that same visor shape that they've had for the last couple of generations. It's their design language. They're sticking with it. It's actually very noticeable. It actually doesn't look bad whatsoever. I think it looks really cool. It's kind of futuristic, but they've changed the whole layout of the cameras. It is now in this nice little pill shape that kind of reminds me of the Dynamic Island. But yeah, for the most part, it is really cool. It's simple, minor changes here and there, but the overall design is nice. Now, this one definitely feels a little bit more sturdy than the last one. Obviously, in terms of comparison, I would probably have to say on paper, maybe like a 10% or so. It's not that big, it's not that crazy, but hey, it is an improvement. It's worth considering. So the first thing that kind of sticks out with the Pixel 8 Pro is the new G3 Tensor chip. It's actually really performant and handles tasks with pretty much a easy breeze. It's very, very powerful. It handles basically everything and anything you want. It handles also like scrolling on social media, handles watching YouTube in high quality 4K, all of that stuff. It's just overall a really good chip. And now on paper, the G3 Tensor chip is supposed to be somewhat of a bigger leap in terms of performance than the G2. But I do have to say that in comparison to the Pixel 7 Pro, which was also a really solid phone, it still is till this day. The differences between these two models aren't that significant, but obviously if you were to look at maybe, for example, like a Pixel 4 XL or something like that, and you'd be going to the Pixel 8, then you'd really see like a huge difference, a huge boost in performance. But sometimes great performance may come at a cost, and that leads me into battery life. The battery life on the Pixel 8 Pro is nothing fantastic. It's nothing out of this world. It is pretty solid. I will have to admit, it is pretty solid. It holds up pretty good. It definitely will get you through a full day's worth of battery. Now, we know that the Google Pixel never really had the best battery life across the board, and just in general across their older generations, it also has been kind of like a thing that they were compromising a little bit. But for the most part, it's really not that big of an issue, because I think most of the time people will use the phone. They'll charge it at the end of the day regardless. So if you get a day's worth, I think in my books it is more than enough. It gets you by. I think 24 hours, obviously you're not going to be using the phone for the full 24 hours. Most of the time you're sleeping 8 hours out of those, and then you have pretty much 16 hours throughout the day. And let's face it, you do spend a bit of time, you know, waking up, morning routine, this and that. So overall, I'd say the average consumer or the average usage of the phone would tend to be around 6 to 7 hours. Now, the Pixel 8 Pro handles that with a breeze. It's actually really solid. So I have to say, overall, across the board, in terms of battery life, it is great on its own. In comparison to the Pixel 7 Pro, it's also really, really good. Not a huge leap, not a huge step up. Now, I do want to point out something that I love about the Pixels just in general, and I think it's just the overall build and just the design behind the Pixel. There's something that feels great about holding a Pixel in your hand, and it's just their design language and how they've constructed this phone. There's something about the build and overall how the pieces come together and just the overall feeling in the hand. It is a pleasant experience. The Pixel in general just has been really fun. I was pleasantly surprised with the Pixel 7 because that's actually one of the first ones that I had my hands on, one of the first ones that I got the chance to really just get along with and start to experiment, like the cameras and all that stuff. And the Pixel 8 Pro, now I'm able to kind of look at it from a different lens and kind of nitpick at all the little things. But overall, the experience of Pixel has just been something that kind of trumps other experiences. Sure, the iPhone 15 Pro Max or just the Pro Max in general is a nice fun experience, and Samsung has a really good lineup of phones. You know, their S23 Plus is probably my favorite Android phone of all time, but I do have to admit that this one does come close to it. It is nice, it's fun, it's cool, it's refreshing, it has some sort of spark. I think the overall screen size of this one is perfect. Now, speaking of screen, Google has definitely brought some significant improvements to the display. We're looking at an LTPO display, which is really bright, saturated, contrasted. It's an amazing display and it works really well. I actually have mine on always on display, which has not affected the battery life too much. That was something that definitely was the case with the 14 Pro Max and the 14 Pro last year. The always on display definitely drained battery throughout the day, but for the Pixel, it actually holds up pretty well. There's not that much information displayed on the always on display, so for the most part, it handles pretty well. Now, this display is really, really bright. I kid you not, I've been using this, you know, every single day, and there was moments where I actually got beamed in the face because it is super bright. On paper, it is sitting at 2400 nits of brightness. Probably is the most bright display on the market at the moment. I think it has the most powerful and lit up display out of all of the smartphones on the market, which is kind of impressive, very interesting. This definitely opens a door for future models and future phones that will come eventually to actually improve their brightness overall. I definitely do think that in this specific category, Pixel has been innovative and they've brought something really nice to the table. So I definitely have to say that's really cool. If you were looking for a phone in general that just has a better display, something a little bit more vibrant, more colorful, definitely more bright, this is the option for you. I think that Google Pixel this time around, you know, even in comparison with like the 15 Pro Max, which I've had and I've been using, it's just, this one is just, it's up there. That 2400 doesn't lie. It definitely is better on paper and it holds up in real life as well. Now, I do have to touch up on all the camera features with the Pixel 8 Pro. The Pixel is known to have, and especially in the last couple of models, I'd say the Pixel 6, 7, and 8 have been really impressive with their cameras, just in general, not so much in the quality of the pictures, but more of how intelligent they are and what you can do with the cameras otherwise and, you know, in post. So for example, if you take a picture of something, you know, we're pretty familiar with this, was actually a pretty big concept that they've introduced in the last couple of generations, but specifically on this one, the AI has been perfected and it is actually really solid, not only just solid, but performant. You are able to take a picture of basically anything and everything. For example, you go outside, you take a picture of something, you don't like something in the background, you remove it. And it's just that simple. You can do that with so many different contexts. For example, you're outside, you take a picture of someone, there's something in the background, you don't want it, you take it out. You take a picture of a landscape, there's something you don't like in the landscape, you take it out. It's really just that simple. Now, one thing I want to point out about the cameras is that they have a lot of potential, and I think this is maybe something that a lot of people kind of tend to ignore. You know, we're always kind of focused on what iPhone is working on, but Pixel has a really solid camera across the board, and especially in their Pro lineup, you have like long exposure features, you have night shift, which actually enables you to take better pictures in the nighttime, and you have all these features. You can shoot in all the way up in 4K. It has all of these premium features, and overall it handles really well. And I think Pixel 7 was actually one of the first ones to introduce autofocus on the front-facing camera, which was really nice. And I remember being super happy and pleasantly surprised last year on the Pixel 7 Pro when I found out about that in the first place. But definitely amazing. This time around, cameras are really performing. You shoot really good photos, and it's kind of surprising how far the Google has come in terms of photography and just AI in general. You're able to take some really fantastic pictures, and then not only that, they give you so much flexibility in terms of what you can do with that picture. You can edit it, but just not just edit it, like color grade it or change the filter and whatnot. It's really just about what you can do with the AI and what that AI allows you to do. Speaking of AI, that's also another thing that's really impressive. The Google system on this one is really, really solid. The voice assistant is really powerful. Allows you to do a bunch of things. You know, you can voice to like text to speech, speech to text, call it whatever you want. But when you talk to the phone and it's recording your words and then transcribing them on the screen and just making an actual text with it, it's become really accurate and it's super fast. And also the voice behind it feels basically human-like. It's not even a robot anymore. I mean, I do think it's a robot, not entirely sure. It feels like it's a human. you guys can actually correct me or point it out in the comment section down below. But for the most part, that feels really good. It's super premium, and I definitely have to say that this is a smartphone that's heading towards the future. And I think this is what Google's vision was also with their whole Pixel lineup.
Download Uber.
They're trying to create a phone that's a little bit different from what everyone else is creating on the market. But not only that, they're also trying to kind of propel the smartphone industry into the future. And I think the Pixel 8 Pro is definitely on its way there. It's building upon a strong foundation every single year, and they're adding new features that I think are worth a lot. You know, they're definitely giving something amazing to the consumers and overall just the Google Pixel fans. And I have to admit, I'm a huge Google Pixel fan. I never really was familiar with their phones in the past, but I got the chance to experience the Pixel 7, which I absolutely loved. And now the Pixel 8 definitely has taken over that spot. I really like it. Definitely is in my top 3 Android smartphone, you know, of this year and just in general up until this point. Now, with that being said, in conclusion, the Pixel 8 Pro is just a really nice addition to the Android phone lineup. And I think just overall for Pixel and for Google in general, this is a huge step up. It is a great improvement towards something great, something futuristic, and it's a leap forward, and I absolutely love it. I'm all for it. If you guys are interested in the Pixel 8 Pro, I'll leave some more information in the description down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. As always, let's get the conversation started in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of the Pixel 8 Pro. Is it worth upgrading? Do you have a Pixel? Have you had a Pixel? What has been your experience? Let's just, you know, try to get a conversation in the comment section down below. With all that being said, Pixel 8 Pro is approved. I absolutely love this. Now, on that note, I also want to say that the Pixel 8, I'll be having a video on this on the channel really soon, so stick around for more awesome content. With that being said, I wish you the best of luck in everything you do, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Deuces.